Welcome to the Myth-of-Soma podcast with your hosts, Cupid and Sub-Zero. It's time to get your weekly Soma news, updates, and of course, who's been winning the Guild Village War. So put your stinger bow down, take off your bone boots, and sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to the Myth-of-Soma podcast, episode 8. So that was my professional introduction. So yes, episode 8 of the Myth-of-Soma podcast, and we haven't done one in a while. Tom has been on nights, and it's been very hard to kind of get us both together at the same time. So apologies for the lack of podcasts recently. But on the plus side, a lot of people have actually been coming back to the game because of this, and because of various other videos that have been going on YouTube and things like that as well. So it was good to see. I mean, I've probably had 6 or 7 messages off kind of more old school players this week that people have come back and started playing again. Some of them are starting new characters, some of them are using the old characters, but it's good to see. It's good that the community is growing more again. So we've got quite a few things to talk about on this podcast, and we are actually on a limited time because I've got to go into my gym in very shortly. So we're going to get cracking. The first thing we're going to talk about, what is it, Tom?
We're talking about the new PK rule that's on everybody's tip of the tongue at the moment. Everybody's talking about it. So we're going to talk about the new PK rule that's coming in. It's not in yet, but it's going to be in. And Dan's said it's happening, whether you like it or not. So you better get ready, folks. And I'll let Matty discuss what it's all about.
So the first podcast we did, we spoke with John Hawkmoon about an option for when PK happens to make people still play the game, because what was happening and what's been happening pretty much since day one is people are logging off the game because they can't hunt, they're getting griefed, they can't just kind of play the game and chill. And we spoke, there's been tons of ideas for an automated solution, so the GMs are freed up to do other things for PK. So what Dan's going to introduce is, if you get killed twice, you will be immune from PKs for 30 minutes. Now I think this is going to be, it's obviously a huge change to PK, and some people are happy about it, some people aren't. But I want people to bear in mind, this is my opinion on it, and this is an opinion from who was a PK on e-Soma, and who was a PK when obviously Matty was capped as a PK for about 6 months, and Sub is going to be a PK when he's capped as well. So I like PK, and I think it's a great fun part of the game, but I do think this will be a positive change. Let me tell you why I think it's going to be a positive change. If there's something that stops people playing the game, that isn't good for the community. It's not good for the longevity of the game. I think it did need looking at it, and obviously this will be a great change for that reason. So there's no reason now, let's say if somebody's hunting and they get killed, they can choose to, say, fight back, they can choose to warp and move, or they can just die twice and then they're fine for 30 minutes. So you've kind of got a bit of an option now, and dying twice isn't the end of the world. It's like 50k really in resis, and it will stop that constant griefing that will happen, that happens to lots of people in lots of different guilds and all over the place in D-Soma and Hey-Soma as well. And it is very annoying. Like you've kind of seen, Sub's been pretty much constantly griefed since day one, and it is annoying when you're trying to hunt, you're trying to relax, and just trying to chill on Soma. And what I don't mind, this is what I didn't mind before when I spoke about this, is there's obviously 2 spawns for most mobs. If one guild is trying to control one spawn and fighting another guild for the spawn, for example, I think that's kind of healthy rivalry. For example, the boar spawns, when the cap race came out, that was quite a constant thing. But if a group of, say, 7 or 8 people who are all capped go around and kill people who are level 90, grief them at a certain point, and then force them to move to another spawn when they don't even want that spawn, I think that is a bit pointless, in my opinion. They're kind of forcing that player to go to another place because they griefed him. That's what they've done. They're not doing it because their guild wants to hunt there. They're doing it because they just want to piss that person off. So I think this will stop that, which is a plus for starters. When it comes to bosses, you've got the choice then. Obviously there's always fights at bosses constantly. And if you get killed twice at bosses, you're immune. You can kill the boss. So it will give more chance for more people at bosses. If you really care about that fucking kill death ratio, which in my opinion is a complete load of bollocks, then you can choose to warp away and not fight, etc., etc. Or you can just die twice. Let's say, for example, there's 10 No Mercy boys at the boss, and one DL turns up and he wants to kill the boss, and the No Mercy kill him twice. The DL then is free to kill the boss. That is a great option, you know, a great way to do it, in my opinion. No one can monopolize bosses now. And now with obviously the 5-minute warning on bosses, no one can camp, you know, bosses like they have been in the past. So that's a plus. I think that's a plus. The negatives of this, the only negative I can really see is in a PK war. If somebody dies twice, obviously they're immune. They can then run into the enemy group and technically get a free stone off. But obviously, as soon as they stone, they can, you know, get hit. There's pros and cons to this, because it'd be interesting to actually do a PK war and see, because what could happen is, if you do die twice, maybe you kind of need to dust yourself off and rethink your strategy. So you're not going to actually maybe run into everybody and try and stone. That might happen. If it's a tank character and you have died twice, we'll see what happens, because if you die twice, maybe it's not a bad idea giving them a free stone, because obviously they're getting battered. So we'll see. There could be pros and cons to it. I think depending on, you know, numbers on the PK war, that could happen. But at the end of the day, it's an automated solution to free the GMs up. I reckon at least 90% of the GM's time is wasted by people complaining about getting griefed and getting, you know, killed constantly, etc., etc. They can't hunt. They got to log off. So that's going to free the GMs up to do other things, which I don't understand why anyone would see that as a positive. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's Care Bear, kind of a Care Bear move, as it were, but you can still go in PK. You can still go on a PK run. For example, when I had Matty, when he was Devil, I would go for a certain run every morning for a PK. So I'd go to all the spawns, run through Vard, and I'd do like a usual kind of swoop of all the spawns. That can still happen. I think that will probably happen more often, because more people are actually going to be hunting and probably just stay hunting. So you can still go and do your little PK run, and 2 kills is plenty. You know, I think if you remove KDR, people wouldn't grief anyway, or there'd be a lot less of it, should we say? So people can still go and do the PK runs. I think, you know, when it comes to kind of hunting mags, I still think there should be a second spawn for mags, but at least people can actually hunt mags and not, you know, kind of get griefed off the mag spawn now, which was happening a lot before the patch raise, because obviously that was where most people hunted. So all in all, I think it's a big plus. I think it's a big plus. I think it's going to save the gems a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of stress as well. You can obviously imagine if you were Ghost Lord and you woke up on a Monday morning, you had 15 inboxes full of he's griefed me, I can't hunt, look at this video, blah blah blah. You know, that isn't a fun job. The guys don't get paid to do this, so I think it'll save a lot of issues as well. And I think it will still be fine for PKers. For example, if I'm going back to when I used to do PK runs on Matty, as I said, I could still go and do that as I did. It's completely fine. PK wars are going to be slightly more interesting now. Maybe the strategies have to change slightly, because obviously when you kill someone twice, they technically do get that free stone. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think all in all, the longevity of the server, it's better. The biggest issue on this server, as we've known for the last few years, is one guild, you know, griefing a lot of other people, to the point where it was a lot of people stopped playing because of this reason. You know, a few years ago this was, and now it's a lot better, obviously. But yeah, I think it'll be a positive. That's what I'm saying. What do you think, Tom?
It can only have positive effects. It can only have that. Because there's people that don't, in both guilds, that, like, right, for example, we've been leveling sub, everyone knows that a lot recently, right? We're getting PK'd a hell of a lot, right? The likes of people like Jackalpup in DL Guild, yeah? That guy doesn't want a PK, that guy doesn't want a PvP. He goes to Shanice now and again and hunts, right? Tanks his noobs or whatever. He can't do that, because every time he's seen, he gets PK'd. And we remove him from the spawn, or say move to another spawn. He can't do that, because of what we do. And we can't hunt there either, because you guys come do the same to us. So this new rule makes it so that if you're, even though you're part of the rival guilds, the big guilds of the game, you can still hunt. Like, because Jack's obviously not bothered about his KD, I'm not bothered, so we'll just die twice and carry on. I don't care, you know. Jack probably don't care. He'll just go, alright, no worries, I'm staying here for another 30 minutes, you know. And then you can come PK me again in 30 minutes and I'll stay there again for another 30 minutes. But if I want to actually PK and properly fight, we can sort it out and go do it. The only thing that I think needs to be looked at is for when we want to do PK wars. This is the this is why I thought we should open up we should have Guild Wars instead. We could even have Guild Wars. But this needs to rework of the guild system. A proper leader needs putting in place. The guild trace needs changing so that everybody can trace. Because then, say DL have 20 members on and we have 20 members on a Saturday night who's really busy and we want a big PK war that we organise anyway and it happens. Why can't we just have a guild war outside TYT gate and have a proper guild war? But you can't do it without guild leaders because it'd never end. I guess you could just log the leaders on and just fight all. You literally could put a guild war on and leave it on. I don't know how it's going to affect everything, but
I don't think it ends until the leader dies, though, does it? I don't think.
Hello?
But I think.
Go on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
The solution, an idea I came up with, and actually a few others did at the same time. I think just having a PK zone around the common PK war zone. So if we're around the guild village, so it's either guild village or bias gate. That's where 90% of the time they'll happen, because you can repot, and if one's got less numbers, it's you can kind of warp in and out, or obviously come in and out of the gate. So it kind of makes it a little bit more fairer for all the sides, and we always get good action there. Making those areas where I don't know if you could put something like like similar to like the blue zone, so something's on the floor where you die, you're not immune basically, so it kind of takes the immunity off. That's the only thing I would change. And even in those areas, like, you don't lose moral. That's not a bad idea either, because there'd probably be a lot more, like a lot of the issues with PK wars is people who go devil moral quite easy if they've killed a few times, especially if like the high moral players you've killed. And it's like, okay, well, we're fighting each other, so nobody really should be losing much anyway, if you know what I mean. I think going to devil moral in a kind of an organized PK war is a bit silly, because that's kind of what we want more of, and everyone really enjoys it. So maybe you could have that zone as you don't lose moral, and it's a PK war zone, and we all know that. And that's the thing. It's then if we all want a proper fight, like organized fight, where we all record it and everyone really has a good laugh, maybe that's a good solution to it. So I don't know if something like that can be done in game. Obviously, I'm not a game programmer. I don't know how these things work. But yeah, I think all in all, a summary, I think it'll be a positive for the game. I think people will think about leveling more characters as well, because obviously the big issue is you can't really, like, the majority of people now will hide their new characters. They'll secretly level them in new guilds and call them names that nobody would recognize, and it's all very secretive, but obviously people find out in the end. And with Sub, I never did that. I was like, okay, this is my character. It was my same character as what was an e-soma. It's my same character as all my gamer names. It wasn't really, I was never going to try and hide Sub, because it's a bit stupid. People won't have to do that with the new PK system, because they know they can just level in peace. And Dan did actually mention as well about maybe making it the level, like back to level 30 or something, or maybe even unlimited, so you can just go and keep PK anybody. I'm not sure about that one, but it could happen. It might work. It might, and encourage a little bit more PKing. So yeah, we'll see. But I think on a nutshell, my opinion, I think it's going to be a positive mainly for the longevity of the server, to free the GMs up, to stop people having to log off because they can't enjoy the game. Simple as that. Done.
Yeah, it has to happen. It has to happen. And let me just put this out there right now, right? Everybody's blaming, or the people who don't like the change are blaming me and Matty for this change. Wait a minute, we have had nothing to do with this. The only thing we suggested a while ago now, with Hawkmoon, which is Dark Legacy, because we all know it's only DL that are complaining about this, right? A DL member suggested a PvE only map and a way to make it so people could hunt without being griefed. Remember this, folks, okay?
And also remember, griefing is against the rule. You're not allowed to grief a player.
Yeah, and I said I didn't even like the PvE map. I didn't even want this PvE map. I didn't even want this PK free thing, right? This isn't my idea. I didn't want this. You're all blaming me for this. You're like, oh, Cupid's this, Cupid's that, Tom's saying this, Tom's saying that. I've said nothing. I ain't even spoke to the GMs in months. The last time I spoke to Dan, we were in game and wished him happy birthday. I don't ever speak to the GMs. I ain't spoke to Ghost Lord since Matty's ban. Since Matty got banned, that's the last time me and Matty spoke to Ghostlord. Because we've never needed... Because we've not needed to speak to him because we've had no issues. He deals with the bans. We haven't been banned again, so we've no need to speak to him. And we've no need to report people. Because what have I got to report people for? If everybody does what they're supposed to do and doesn't, like, break the rules. The only thing I ever do in-game is I remind everyone, and I said this on a thread, I remind you all of the rules. You cannot keep hold of the spawns, all the spawns. So I say to, and there were a guy PKing sub all the time, and I said to him, I advise you not to follow me to the next spawn. And he said, why are you going to get me banned? And I said, you'll be breaking the rules. And he literally just ran away, and I ran to the other spawn. And then I went back there in about half an hour's time, and he came back half an hour later and took me out of the spawn. So I had to go to the next spawn. And then half an hour later I went back, and so on and so on. It went like this. And that's all I've said to people. I've never reported anyone. I have said to people, I will report you if you break the rules, because obviously I will. But as long as you don't break the rules, why do I need to report you? And people sending videos and screenshots into Ghostlord of me saying things like I'm trying to get people banned. Wait a minute, mate. I ain't sent a single reporting to anybody about anybody. Okay? I haven't done anything like that. Right? You're the guys who are wasting the GM's time. And this is why the GMs are doing this. Because their time is being wasted all the time. So maybe if everybody took a chill pill and just fucking ignored everything and just got on with the game and how it is going to be and took the GM's word for it and if the GM says this is happening, you don't all jump on it and get on his back about it, oh, this is a bad change. It's their decision. It's not my decision, it's not your decision, it's their decision.
I think you also find it is more of a certain type of people who do this, and I think that, you know, I think a few people spoke about this. A lot of people take their own personal issues out on other people on Soma. Like they may have a few issues going on at home or whatever in real life, and then they take that out on other people on Soma. You know, maybe kind of calling them names, maybe giving people death threats, maybe, and again griefing them and just being generally annoying to the other person. Like that isn't. This community is so small, you can't have that. The game will die way too soon, when I think this game could live on for a long time. So you got to remember that all these changes are coming in are I think, going to prolong the server more than probably any other change that's happened in the past. I really do. And again, if I wanted to create a new character next, I actually feel like I said once this character's done, I'm never doing a character again. It's been a fucking ball ache. But now I'm thinking, okay, I could maybe do one, and again, I could do a little bit, you know, casually leveling it. At least I get killed. I got half an hour free hunting, and then I can log off and go and chill for a bit. So it does give people that other option to make more characters, and I think, you know, there's only so many people play the game, and if once you're capped, and if you don't really want to, you're not that fussed about your gear, and you want to create another character, for example, Rob, you know, Warrior's our very good friend. He's capped about 6 characters now, because he loves creating those new characters. So I think personally for me, I'll probably work on a devil next, and then maybe another human as well, because now these changes are in, and you've got a little bit more peace in hunting as well. So it keeps people coming back to the game and keeps them playing it. And again, if people stop playing the game, there's no game for anyone to play. So you got to think, don't let a handful of people, and it is only a small handful of people, and it isn't just one guild that does this. There's multiple guilds that do this. There's multiple people who've done this. And it does ruin it for the majority. So in a nutshell, let's put it to bed now, as it works. It is coming in, it's changing, and that's it. We can test it out, and maybe there'll be some tweaks along the line.
I can't wait.
I think it'd be good. And I genuinely think there'll be more PKing, because there's not much of a kind of loss anymore. So will people really care about running around the map for, you know, let's say if you went to kill somebody and they start running, which is what normally happens. Are they going to run around the map for an hour, or are they just going to let you kill him twice? So if you want the kill, and you kind of want that, you know, oh yeah, I got a kill type kind of buzz, which is a good buzz sometimes, depending on who you're killing, you get that, where the other person gets more peace. Okay, it's kind of a win-win situation. I think. So yeah, PK's changing. We spoke about it for way too longer than what I wanted to actually, but I think it's quite an important point today. But yeah, I think we need to stop the hatred against, you know, Tom's been getting a lot. I know Tom is a bit of a wind-up merchant sometimes, but he is doing a lot for the server and a lot for bringing people back and keeping people in game and things like that. So I get hate all the time, but I'm kind of used to it. So I've kind of grown a thick skin. I don't really give a shit personally. So attack me all you want. I don't care. But in general, I think a lot of people need to calm down and stop kind of having to go at a lot of other people, if it's a GM or if it's somebody posting on the forum or whatever. It does need to stop.
Yeah, it's only a set number of people. Like, when did we see John Hawkmoon posting on the forum complaining about everything? He never has once. I never seen him say anything. We talk to John from DL on Skype, don't we, Matty? About stuff. We talk about changes that might be happening. Maybe you guys are the guys who are so mad about everything and hate me and hate Matty and just want to put it all on the forums. Why don't you go speak to John? Say to John, tell John about it, and tell John to come talk to us. Because we have direct links with him now. We're talking to him often, you know, on Skype and stuff. So anyway, let's leave it at that. I can't even be bothered talking about it anymore. It's absolute stupid. It's happening. Get used to it. Live with it. If you don't like it, you know where to go. Anyway, move on. So yeah, what we wanted to talk about thirdly was
second,
third. Yeah, I've lost where we are. We wanted to talk about the 20% increase in the new armor defenses that's getting put onto human soma armor, or was talked about getting put on. I'll let you. I don't know much. Like, I've been off all the talks.
So there was talk on the weekend. Dan came on and we discussed it in town with about the devil damage. Basically, you know, obviously devils do a lot of damage. So we said, why don't I just increase all new armor drops by 20%? So you got more defense. And I actually did massively disagree with Dan over this one. I have to say, I didn't mean to sound rude, but I do massively disagree. I only think even increasing it by 20% of your armor, it's minimal. It's a drop in the ocean against the damage that devils will do. So there's a picture of Leon doing nearly 900 damage with fifth sword on the dummy. So adding an extra 20% on the armor. You got to remember, it's the armor, not your strength or anything like that. You're probably talking an extra maybe 20-ish defense. You know, around that, I would say. If you think about it, so let's say, let me take what I've got on here. Let's say, okay, rare bit of bone boots, 8 to 14. So if I add an extra 20% of that one, you're talking what, 10 to 16, something like that. You know, 20%. Yeah, exactly, 10 to 16. So that's adding 2 to 2 defense. If I add that across the board, let's say 3 to 3 defense. If you're using, you know, the top end type of stuff. You're talking 12 defense. You know what I mean? It's nothing. All that is doing is nerfing hate soma melee weapons by 12. By 20%, in my opinion. That's all that's doing. So I don't think it's I don't think that's needed, and I think it is literally a drop in the ocean against how much damage devil do. An extra 12 defense will literally do nothing against the devil damage. If anything. And I think what I'm going to do before the next podcast, I'm going to get a Cap Devil to come into Time 6 Raid and do some testing on 200 strength characters. Because I'll be quite interested to actually see what damage they do. And because I'm actually completely confused about what percent they're on. I have no idea what percent they... I used to think it would be 60%. So we'd be on 100%, they'd be on 60% on a raid. That's what I used to think it was, but now it's nothing like that. So we'll see. I mean, I was fighting a guy today who killed Rojo, and he got 500 pos off Rojo, so he's probably only about a level 70 to 80, and he was doing around 350 damage a hit, and not a fourth, a hit to me, and I just hit 125 strength today, so it's one of them. It's crazy damage, and we spoke about it in the past, but I don't think the solution is buffing hate summer armor. I think that will make no difference. For one, it'll piss a lot of people off who've made armor sets already. Like, I'd have to make a whole new armor set, because I would think, you know, it's kind of like having untagged bone now if it did change, and I don't want to do all that again. You're talking maybe 2 years of work from a lot of people's armor sets. You don't want to do all that again. I don't know. I think it's a drop in the ocean. I don't think it'll work. So I genuinely don't think it's a good idea. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I don't think they can. I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
I do not want to start redoing armors and making new armors and stuff like that. It's too soon. Unless they changed all the existing armors and buffed all armors,
but even then,
across the board,
the issue still, all you're doing is nerfing melee weapons.
Yeah, you are, but
it won't make a difference. I really don't think it's a good idea. The only issue is it's Devil's damage that's the issue. It's how much damage they kick out. It's not our defense. It's their damage.
It's going to make. He's trying to put in a change that helps. That changes a part of the D-Soma versus human Soma way, but in a sense, it directly impacts human Soma way more. That it makes it human versus human a lot harder and a lot worse off, pretty much. So, I think if you're going to do anything, or if anything's put in, can we put the test server back on and put it in the test server before sticking it on the live servers? Because I would hate for it to come into the live server and everyone be like, wow, this change is horrendous. We do not like it. Everybody complain like mad. And people just be like, do you know what? It's 10 times worse. I'm done. And go play WoW or go play whatever else, you know. We can't. I don't think we can afford to just stick something like that on the live server if it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I think it's not the solution. I think the solution is to nerf D-Soma damage.
Because they've already had an MD buff, apparently. I didn't know, it's not been officially, but apparently I've read somewhere that they've had an MD buff. So they've had what they wanted, which was to take less damage off our mages. But the thing is, having them have an MD buff is fine, because none of them fight, hardly any mages fight against devils, if you know what I mean. It's all melee versus melee, 95% of it. So the thing is, all would happen now, and there's a lot of tank builds, and now you can wear PD whilst having, a weapon, and the new shield as well, which is very tanky. The melee weapons would be very underpowered, I think. Any melee weapon. I'm not just saying it just because I'm an archer. I'm saying it because you can wear PD now, and you can use that new shield, and there's new items that are kind of more for tanks. It will make kind of melee a bit. Everyone just go mage, basically. Everyone just be mage because the damage is so much better. So yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. So that's it for that point. There were some good ideas actually that people came up with. Again, one of them was looking at the damage of the melee weapons of devils, because thing is with melee weapons, every 1-to-1 it actually adds 2-to-2 damage. I think I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. Yeah. So it's the stats. The stats aren't hugely different. They kind of got like 220 strength and things like that. But if their weapon, let's say if you take a really nice top end bow, which is 60 to 40, let's say on Hey Soma. I'm not a Devil Soma player, but what would a top end devil bow be, Tom? Do you know?
Oh, I have no idea, mate.
Would it be like 80 to 115 or something like that? It's well over 100, isn't it?
It's 90. I think there's an intense grim bow I've seen that's like 90 to 120.
Okay.
And the one-handed, we say a one-handed bow. The normal bow, not a crossbow.
Yeah.
That I've seen one of them like 75 to 105, something like that. So
that 120, that's double our weapons. So that's what you got to look at. That's the issue.
Yeah, double.
It's a double, and it's not just double 1-to-1 damage. It's double 2-to-2 damage. So it's a little bit like them having the same weapon as us, but 400 strength. It's a set 440 strength. That'd be about the same damage, wouldn't it? If my maths are right.
Yeah, something like that.
So they could have 440 strength, but with like an epic stinger. And it's like fighting against. Yes, that completely makes sense. I think I've got that right in my own head. So it's like a 220 strength, archer with an epic stinger versus a 440 strength archer, damage-wise. That's kind of what you're looking at. That's why the damage is so high. It's because it adds 2-to-2. So so that's that.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming in, is it?
It's not. A lot of people did disagree with Dan at that, so I don't think it is. But I'm just saying. I just wanted to
beg that it doesn't come into the live servers without some proper testing going on.
Yeah.
I think the test server does need putting on. I just wanted to mention that anybody who's listening or watching now, I said it again. I said it wrong. War of the Worlds has just started, so I've just stuck recording on and put my character at the safe zone so you can all watch if you're bored. And the picture. But anyway, let's carry on. So yeah, it's not coming in. It's not coming in. We're not saying it's coming in. Let me turn my guild chat. So we'll just have to see what happens and see what Dan says. The let's hope that he gets some proper testing before it comes in. Because we all saw Shaylo tank at the Guild Village War, the last Guild Village War, and a lot of Vikings were hitting him, and a lot of Vikings and No Mercy have very, very good gear, and they couldn't kill him. Yes, he had a lot of curers on him. Yes, he had a lot of healers on him. Yes, he had a lot of people casting Reflect. But if you buff human damage, if you buff human armor, it will only make tanks more tanky. And you saw what Shaylo could do the other day. And there's only more characters coming in. I know there's people in Vikings making them. I'm making a tank. There's more people making tanks, and it's gonna make. I think it's gonna imbalance it the tiniest bit. So
the thing is, now we've got fort plates, so if people want to make a build that is basic minimum damage for a devil, so you could go into, you could kind of do what Shaylo did and just kind of, you know, tank the stone or whatever like that. You can make them builds now. If you got an intense bit of bone top and +5'd it on fortified plates, that'd be like what 23 to 35 kind of defense, something like that. I think off the top of my head. Which is obviously a lot higher than anything else in game. So if you wanted to make that type of build, you could quite easily. So, you know, there's no need to change all the armors and make everyone have to make new armor sets. I think just think that'd be a massive step backwards. But anyway, the next thing that's been changed, that has actually been changed, I've tested it this week, is mags for some reason have had their magic defense really buffed, like kind of to like twice. It feels like twice as much. So I went on Rocky, and somebody said that, you know, they've been buffed and it's really hard to kill them with the magic now. So I was like, okay, let me go and test it. So I went on Rocky. He's obviously got 200 in. He's got really good gear, a very high damage mage, should we say? And it took me like 20 odd hits to kill this mag, and I had half health by the time the mag died. So I was like, this can't be right. So I tested a few more, and it was about the same. So I got to around half health by the time the mag died, and before it was nowhere near that. You know, could kill a mag. Probably it felt about twice as slow. And again, I didn't write it down how many times I killed it in many hits before, but it felt about twice as slow. So I said, Virgil, he was at the mags as well. So I said, right, let me part you. Let's stand next to each other and let's hit the mags at the same time. Let's see who kills it first. And he's an archer. Virgil's gear isn't like all maxed out, but he's got maybe, so let's say on average +3 gear, kind of all his accessories, and he's got maybe a +6 bow. So it's decent damage, but it's not like top end kind of damage, is in like the maximum you can get. He killed the mag before I got it to half health.
Really?
So yeah,
in full proc gear as well.
In full proc gear, yeah. So he killed the mag before I got it to half health.
So how many hits did he take?
I don't know. Again, I didn't count his hits, but we were just looking at how
stupid, man.
Yeah, how much. So for some, I don't know why they've been buffed, because I think
actually keep it in. I like it. The rival guild are all mages. It's great.
Well, this is the thing. It just kind of really gives mages a bit of a hard time. And the thing is with mags as well, right? I think they just leave them as they are, because at this point in the game,
why make it harder?
You've got an extra kind of 30 attack from what you had before, but at least now you can actually mine gear a little bit quicker.
But wait a minute, all the new people are going to have it harder to farm gear when we've had it all pretty much easier because they were easier. I don't
yeah, that's a good point as well. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know I think you're making it harder for all the newbies.
Mags are hard enough. I mean, you want to make some gear at mags, you got to spend some serious hours there.
Yeah,
you got to spend serious time there. So I don't think I just leave them as they are. I just don't think that there's any need to buff them. And at this point in the game, people want to make, you know, most people have got, say, like an average kind of +3, +4 gear. So to make a +5, you've got to make probably like 10 +3s, you know, on average to kind of get them to that 5. So you need to do a lot more to get that one extra, you know, kind of upgrade on it. You got to have a lot more kind of backups and things like that. So it just takes longer and longer and longer.
It's not like it's easy to make upgrades. It's bloody hard to make upgraded items.
Oh yeah. I think
you can spend years doing it. And on Rocky, I know this. On Rocky, we used to with good procs, we could 8-hit mags.
But that was with DB one as well.
That was with DB though. That was with DB. So this was like the max output you could the max damage you could output onto a mag, with a very, very strong mage, with very, very good proc gear. Rocky has very good proc gear.
I thought it was 11 hits. I'm pretty sure it was 11 hits.
No, it were about 8. We worked it out with DB. Okay. It were 11 with light sword, and it were 8. It was about 8 with DB, I believe. With good procs, like procking a lot of the time. And Rocky is like 50% proc basically. So it's for him to be doing that now, like I haven't been there since the change, But for him to be doing that now is quite a shock to me. That I now, yeah. So I don't know.
It is way too.
This is another thing why we need the test server putting in, Matty. This should be put on the test server. I like everything that Dan and everyone's doing, but can't we bring the test server back on and you put a post out and say, right, we've buffed Mags, because this has been a secret buff, right? Yeah, it's a buff, isn't it? Yeah, so they've made him stronger. So this is secret. He's never come out and said that these have been buffed, has he?
I've not read it anyway. That's why I wanted to test.
So no one's because I haven't seen anything on our WhatsApp groups of Dan coming in game and saying it's happening. This has just happened, and no one's even known about it. Now I'm not like hating on Dan for doing it and Finn for doing it. I'm just saying that the people need to know. If
there's just no need for it though. I don't think there's any need.
I know, but if something's getting changed in game, people need to know about it. You know, so that people don't get there and be like, what the hell has happened? You know? And then we come to it now and say, everybody's come to us and said that something's happened to Mags. Like, I've woke up after, because I've been working nights, I've woke up today and everyone's like, Mags, it's so hard to find Mags, I can't find Mags, what the hell has happened? And then we've obviously realised that they've been buffed and we've checked the armoury and they still say the same int, don't they? The actual stats are the same, are they? It's the HP that's been buffed.
No, it's the magic defense. So the int must have increased because the melee apparently is exactly the same. It's not changed.
Yeah, so maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's changed. Maybe it wasn't even meant to happen. Maybe Finn's been playing around. Maybe Finn's played around with Mags in the database. Changed them. Maybe you meant to change them on Devil's side, and he's changed them on human side.
I think Devils did change. I think
maybe it's not even supposed to be like this, and they don't even really know. So, yeah, majors are going to struggle at Mags now compared to melee people.
So yeah, I think it just needs looking at. But anyway, I thought I'd mention it because a lot of people spoke about it. And obviously, this podcast is more of just telling you general news that's been going on in Soma for the week.
That's what it's all about.
Catching everybody up.
That's what it's all about.
So that was that one, and the next one was a bit of a shout out to Espada Guild because it's always been DL and whoever wants to fight DL for the last 3 years basically, and now Espada Guilds are kind of they're a neutral guild. Don't get me wrong, they're kind of they're not PKs or anything, but there's a lot of members and they're getting quite strong and they're a very good. They just seem like a very good community from what I've seen. I think Diamond and Carini are kind of the leaders of it, and they've been hunting together at Mags and things like that. And it just reminds me of where I was with kind of Saiyans and things like that, like over a year ago. Well, whatever it was, about over a year ago now. And it's nice to see that again. It's nice to see that kind of some of the lower levels kind of getting together and give it a year's time. They could be maybe the top guild in the game. You never know. But it's good to see kind of at least another option now for people, and it's not just two sides to everything. At least there's a third kind of power, kind of coming through the ranks as it were now, and it's nice to see. So yeah, shout out to people like that, and I think it's a really nice skill. I've been leveling a lot with Disco Biscuit. He's a really good guy, and a few others.
Yeah, shout out Disco Biscuit, man. Really nice guy, really nice guy.
It's nice being leveling with lots of different people, and I always obviously I have Sandic and Tank in there, and I always say to people, look, just hit it because. Just hit whoever's around Sando, you hit him. It doesn't matter. Because I'm trying to get charisma up on this. I was like, so if I party, I get charisma, you get free mobs, and it's great. And like Visca, I've been leveling with him, Devil Maker, Trap King, and
shout out to Devil Maker, shout out to Visca, shout out to Disco Biscuit, shout out to Plix. Been hunting with all you guys these last week or so. It's been good, man. You've been making hunting a lot easier because you can get a bit boring hunting, and hunting with a bit of the community is nice.
It is nice, yeah. And today we had Kite, who obviously I've known Kite for ages. He's been really good friends with me. Paul came on Super Saiyan. I had Nyx, just been leveling with Nyx a little bit there. Who else? Toxic was mining rubies. I kind of annoys me when people mine rubies here because we just take so many. But anyway, who else was here today?
Shout out to China.
China, constantly mining.
China, Jay and Johnny at BLGs for life.
BLG's for life. But yeah, it is nice hunting with people, and it's been a nice, just chatting, just literally chatting to them. And I know there's Discord, and we've been on Discord a few times, but just generally just chit-chatting to them and having a bit of a chinwag. It just makes the game, that's what it's about, really, isn't it? The game, it's about the people, it's about the community.
Yeah, we've been going on Discord quite often when we're hunting and having a chat with Disco and Devilmaker and a few others,
Yeah,
it's been nice to go on and chat. It's been good. I like it. But yeah, like Matty says, shout out to Espada, man. I know there's other girls that have been here a while, like Arcanix and the leader, Leon, whatever it is. We're only shouting out to Espada. We're not like disregarding Arcanix and the other guilds. It's just Espada are a new guild. They're very active, and they even take part in the Guild Village Wars, which it seems like they want to do. And no one's ever really done that since forever, I don't believe. There's been no other really third guild who's turned up. Like last Guild Village War, Demon were there, fighting for the stone, really close. I know Disco, you struggle with time zones because you're in America, but it's really nice to see other guilds there, And I were on Discord and I was saying to the lads, don't write off Espada and that Demon and that. I said, you make sure you kill him. Don't be leaving them alone, because that Demon's at 110 now, it must be. I said, there's no counting them out for winning, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, so in all, I think the game's going in the right direction. I really do. I think these changes coming into place are very good. I think it's going to be, you've got to think longevity of this game. It's been going for 18 years and it's still going strong. I mean, you've got to look at that video that I posted the other day about the GM event that we did with when he brought all the devils to Gorshak and all that stuff. That was like e-soma numbers. It was crazy. The Guild Village are like e-soma numbers. And if you use every map you go on, every spawn, there's people hunting out. It's a lot busier now than when I started the server. Put it that way. This is 18 months ago, something like that. So it's all going in the right direction. I think just as a community, we need to do more together. And I think obviously this is going to free the GMs up with the PK change, and generally just being nice to each other. Simple as that. And obviously the game is, there's a lot of fucking pricks who do play the game, to put it bluntly, but that's always going to happen. But if you can just kind of rise above it, as it were, then it just makes the game get generally better. And we do get a lot of hate, me and Tom, but I'm telling you one thing now: if the amount of people that we've kind of brought back and the YouTube channels brought back to the game is a huge amount. And I think a lot of people forget that. They just see that they just kind of want to kill us and hate us and murder us and all that shit that you kind of hear daily. You guys, I don't give a shit about your opinion of how much you hate me. I really don't care, because what the time and effort that we put into the game, into the videos, and getting people back and playing the game again, that's what it's about. That's what it's for, because I want to see this game live on. It means a lot to a lot of us, and it means a lot to me personally, and I don't want to see it kind of go to shit. So I'm putting my own time and effort in to make sure it doesn't happen. So I think on that note, Tom, I've got to go and eat my tea and go to work.
Yeah,
anything you want to add? Anything you want to add at the end?
No, I think we're pretty cool. The next podcast is going to be... We're going to do one at the weekend, aren't we, Matty? I think. Yeah. We're going to do one at the weekend, and we might try drag someone in if they want to join. If you want to get on with us and do it, send us a message in game and we'll sort it out. So weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I'm free, Matty's free, so let us know. Player of the week we'll announce on the weekend, and PK of the week we'll do at the weekend. But PK's been off for quite a while, so I don't think we're going to get a PK of the week. I think Dan's wanting PK off while he sorts all these changes out, because the griefing's been absolutely ridiculous on both sides, I must say. VK being bad and DL being bad, so it's both sides. I wanted to do one thing for a friend of ours. I wanted to do one quick shout out. I'm not going to say much about it because I'm not allowed, but Ghost Lord, if you do listen, Alakazam has been banned, as we all know, and he sent you supposedly sent you a message last Monday, so it's over a week now, just asking for an explanation and a reason why he's being banned, and he would just like an answer if that's That's all he's asking for. If he could have an answer to why he's been banned and the allegations that have been brought forward against him, because he would like to get it sorted out. I know we all said he'd get perma next time, but I think at least explain to the guy so at least he can change his ways for his next character, because we don't want him to get banned again. He's actually a really nice guy. He just speaks his mind too much in-game and says the wrong things at the wrong time, but we all do that. But some people can't curb it, as we've seen. So yeah, I'm not going to go on about it, but please, if you could reply to him, that would be nice, because we're still waiting, and you're the guy that runs the bans and talks about them. Dan said, ask Ghost Lord, so yeah, we're asking Ghost Lord, can you please message him? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So it's been quite a good podcast. I've enjoyed it. We've talked about a few things, got things out of the way, got things off his chest, and let's see what we can talk about at the weekend. Hopefully at the weekend we'll talk more about ideas, people's ideas and improvements that are going to be put into the game. Matty?
Hello.
Oh, you there?
I'm good.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks everyone for listening. World of War, I said it again, I said it wrong. War of the Worlds has just started, so let's see what we can do. Hopefully we can win. Don't look like we're going to win though, Matty.
Oh well, I've got to go, so I can't help, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right, so yeah, see you later from me, and I'll speak to you at the weekend.
See you later, Soma fans. Until next time.
Yep, take care everyone. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in game at Cupid.
We hope you enjoyed the Myth-of-Soma podcast. To download the game for free, visit myth-of-soma.com. Until next time, Soma fans.